Chapter 6. Walking alone up to the corner of Collier and Model, I see the telltale strobe splash of police car lights off the faces of the stores in that block. The female officer circles the stolen car, shining a 6-battery torch through the windows, muttering into her shoulder mic. A second squad car appears. I take a bite of the apple, just another curious citizen. The relief of not being chased by the law, like awakening from a dream of unimaginable consequences. The apple is delicious, like it was grown in a better time. Colleen sees me walking up the block. I watch her report this to Lee, see Lee turn to face me, see her disappointed look that I'm home. "What did you do now?" Colleen teases. "What do you mean?" "Police in the area, and there you are. Coincidence?" "Why were you crying?" I ask Lee. "I wasn't crying." I examine her eyes, not amused, but not sad. Maybe the crying comes later. It makes me nervous standing in the alley. The stolen car with its train of pursuers could be due at any moment. So little do I understand what I'm involved in. The stolen car with its train of pursuers could be due at any moment. So little do I understand what I'm involved in. "I got in the way of girl talk," I say. "I'll make myself scarce." "You're good at that," Lee says. "I told you where I was going," I say. I omit mention of Kurt, lest I be drawn into the true point of their girl talk. I came right back. I start up the stairs. "I saw Penny," I say, hoping Lee will follow me to hear the story. "Where?" The phone in our apartment starts to ring. It's Rick Dawkins calling. "Hey, Josh," he says, like we're friends. "Where you been?" I have learned that the best way to deal with reporters is to say nothing. They hate silence. Dawkins goes on. "You say you want me to leave you alone, so I do, and then you do something to draw me right back to you." He has made me curious, but not curious enough to speak. I was sitting here, listening to the scanner, wishing I had a wife or a girlfriend or a job that didn't require me to be sitting here, when what do I hear but that address I've come to know so well? 218 Clover, your old house, you say. Here he pauses in vain for confirmation from me. "Car stolen from said address," he continues. "And then I hear the stolen car has been found on your new front porch." I hang up when Lee comes through the door. "Who was that?" "Reporter." "What did he want?" Her tone is wary. She knows me like a wife. I like that about her. "He hinted that I stole a car." "Did you?" Out the window, across the rooftops, I can still see the police car's strobe pulse in the next block over, like lightning in a distant valley. "Technically, it was Randall who stole the car," I say. "Oh, Josh." She sounds not so much disappointed in me as newly exhausted. Her tone is, "This again?" It's a relief to fill her in on the fallen apple and the high-speed chase. "Right down our alley," I say. "You were there with Colleen." Lee stares at me and sighs. Then she turns away. "Remember when you believed me?" I follow her into the bedroom. "Did I?" she asks. "I didn't want it to happen again," I say. "I've lived through that once," she says. "Never again." "I'm not going anywhere," I say. "It sounds like you don't have much say in the matter." A cold rain is falling the next day when Lee gets home from work. She stays in the car and honks until I come down. "Get in," she says, patting the seat beside her. "I want to show you something." I grab a jacket and my keys. Benny Jr. is at his alley door talking to a man in a fluorescent yellow vest. I wonder if Penny is in there, working illegally. The car smells of Lee's perfume. She has brushed her hair, applied fresh lipstick, and removed her dispatcher's clip-on necktie. "Where are you taking me?" I asked. "This isn't an abduction," she assures me. She drives us into a part of Euclid Heights I rarely visit. It is a parcel east of the high school and north of Mill Road that was unincorporated until it was annexed into the village when the private wells started to go bad. The lots all appear sunken to me, 2 or 3 steps down from the road, eager to flood. Tiny houses, no sidewalks. The village evidently feels it has done enough for the homeowners by hooking them into the sewer and water. We find ourselves on Skyline Street. Up ahead, a car with its engine and parking lights on sits at the end of the driveway. A for sale sign with a wind-blown tilt is planted in the front yard. The driver of the car helpfully pulls forward when Lee signals her desire to turn. She shuts off the engine and grabs my hands. "It's not the Taj Mahal," she says, "but I love it." A chubby woman in a rain hat, carrying a laminated listing sheet, gets out of the other car. Her name is Cindy, Lee says. Cindy shakes my hand and repeats my name. The celebrity, she says to Lee. She has to kick her way through old newspapers rolled in filmy sheets to punch a code into the lockbox hanging from the house's front door handle. I put my face to the front window. Small, empty living room, exposed, worn wood floors, a rug against the wall. I see reflected in the glass a tumbling billow of ground fog as it sweeps across the road and rolls down into the shallow cake pan of a front yard. A car sparkling in the mist drives past. Rick Dawkins is nearby if he's on the ball. A rumbling commences in the concrete slab of the porch. I check the overcast for a low-flying jet. Freight train, Cindy says to Lee. The tracks are that away. She opens the door. We're in. Cindy turns on the light in a dismal ceiling fixture and reads from the listing sheet. 3 bedrooms, newer roof, newer furnace, basement-ette. She winks at Lee. Really a deep crawl, detached 2-car, appliances stay. And this is a really bad time to see it, Lee tells me. It's really cute, lots of light, small, true, but really airy. Really, I tease. She swats my shoulder and flips a switch on the kitchen. A ceiling fixture of bubbled brown glass panels and dusty twine tassels soaks up a majority of the light before it has a chance to do its job. I tip the shade. One of the 3 50-watt bulbs is dead. No wonder they want to sell, I say. I'm depressed already. Lee turns on a light over the sink. She tries the taps. I open the refrigerator, expecting light and cold, but get neither. How long has this been on the market, I ask. A year tomorrow, Cindy tells Lee. You could move in as soon as the buyers accept an offer. And they'll accept one, believe me. It needs love. Who doesn't, I say. Something trips a motion sensor light in the backyard. Twin lamps located under the eaves shoot strong beams of stark light across the foggy ground, through a chain-link fence and into the adjoining property, where our security light is red as a moving creature that triggers the neighbor's security lights. Looks like a prison movie, I say. Lee scowls at me. I'm sick of paying rent, Josh, she says. We can just about afford this. It's a start, and we're way past the time when most people make their start. I keep watch on the backyard. Nothing moves across the silvery emulsion. In the far corner of the lot is what appears to be a broken branch, thrusting up above the surface of the fog. I'm trying to get a bead on it when our lights, sensing all is well, click off. Cindy goes into the front room to make a call. Lee might have given her the signal to leave us alone. Her arms enfold me. I want this, she murmurs. Let's see the basement-ette, I say. My slight interest pleases her. We pick up a flashlight in the kitchen. The furnace is in the crawl space, stuck back in a corner and reached by following a trail of flattened cardboard boxes that bear the knee and handprints of previous owners and repair persons. It'll be a major project just to change the filter, I say. Lee doesn't care. There are no deal breakers for her short of a body being found dead in that humid well, and then only if it is someone she knows. Back in the kitchen, thunder rumbles again. Cindy said, folks get used to the trains. I walk back to the front room to check on our car and distance myself from Lee's enthusiasm. The front yard's motion sensor lights are on now. The presence of our car in the fog has to be taken on trust. I open the front door. Side by side on the porch are twin miniature tornadoes of fog, dissolving as they whirl, created by the sudden departure of something large and agile. I step out onto the porch. The only sound is dripping water. Nothing moves. I still have the flashlight in hand, so I follow its strong beam around to the backyard. The light transforms the fog into a hissing cloud of golden droplets I pass through. The lights go on when I am halfway to the rear fence. They emit an industrial hum. My shadow is thrown into the neighbor's yard and re-triggers their motion lights. I have to shade my eyes. You're going to get soaked. I whirl, spooked all over again. It's Lee with an umbrella provided by the realtor. She centers its protective dome over the two of us. Are you trying to get away from us out here? She asks, butting me with her hip. I shine the light along the rear property line, examining everything from the unattached 2-car garage to what I had thought was a branch poking up through the fog. What is that? Lee asks. I really don't want to know. At this point in time, it isn't our problem, but Lee moves toward it, eager for the responsibility of homeownership. I train the beam on the tip of the branch and see Toenails? Yes, dark, curved toenails, attached to a muddy paw. Lee gasps and covers her mouth. I run the light down the length of the leg. Even that close, the fog is so thick it casts doubt on everything we see. What is it, Josh? Lee whispers. Cindy the realtor, her patience tested by her oddball clients, comes up behind us. What'd you folks find out here? My light picks out a wet rope of dirty fur lying on the grass. It's a tail. I run my light to the very tip of it, just so I won't have to go in the opposite direction. Oh my God, is that a dog? Cindy wails. I play my light back the other way. Half a dog, I say. Lee squeezes my hand. Cindy runs for the house. The front half of the dog is missing. The soaked rear haunch reminds me of something caught between two worlds, unfortunately frozen in the here and the there. I jerk my light to the left, thinking I don't want the surprise of finding the front half nearby. The fog in that corner of the yard boils like soup. I trail my light back. The ground darkens with blood as the light nears the dog's rear half. The torn end is ragged, chewed through, deflated. My guess is it was a pretty good-sized dog. I remember the lost dog sign on the pole, answers to baby. I shoot the light out in all directions, not to find the other half, but watching for the animal that bit a dog in half. Cindy returns with a shovel. She carries a shovel? I watch her with new interest. Bury the poor thing, she says. It's not our property, I say. Cindy glances at Lee. I see an understanding there. Lee knows what she wants. Could you, my wife asks. Inside, while I'm digging, Lee makes a bid on the house, 20% below the asking price. Cindy almost gives Lee the key right on the spot, so certain she is that the bid will be accepted.